Picture this. Mother Nature throws a rave, and in a moment of pure chaos, someone grabs a squirrel, a bat, and the world's most traumatized kitten, chucks them into a blender, and lets that cocktail ferment in a dark corner for a couple million years. What do you get? Something that makes you stare and wonder, is this even legal? Meet the II. First thing to mess with your brain. The classification. Scientists spent years banging their heads against the wall, trying to figure out what box to shove this little troublemaker into. It's got rodent teeth. Seriously, those massive, gnarled incisors are always growing. If it ever stops gnawing, its own teeth will literally pierce its skull. Imagine your nails growing so fast you'd have to eat drywall just to stay alive. This weird wonder weighs about 3 kilos, think. One chonky house cat, but its tail, longer than its whole body. 60 centimeters of pure, fluffy nonsense. Looks like it swiped that tail off a luxury animal at a fashion show. And those eyes. Giant. Yellow. Set wide apart. When it stares at you, it's as if you just told it taxes are optional. And they straight up glow in the dark, lending that "I've come for your soul." But hold up, let me finish this fruit vibe. Don't get me started on the ears. They're not ears, they're satellite dishes. Enormous, leathery, bald, rotating independently like the world's weirdest Bluetooth headset. One ear listens to neighborhood gossip, the other checks if the kettle's boiled. All of this is topped off with a round, "I was an afterthought at the animal assembly line" head. But all that is just the warm-up. The main attraction? Its hands. Or more specifically, one hardcore finger. The middle finger on its front paw is legendary. Long, skinny, freakishly skeletal, like a haunted twig duct taped to a paw. It's an instrument of pure discomfort. The II taps on trees with it, up to 8 times per second like a possessed drummer, while using those radar ears to pick up insect echoes. When it finds a hollow, it chews through and fishes out its meal with that finger, like some kind of nightmarish surgeon. It basically took the woodpecker's job but turned it into a shadowy ritual. So what is this thing? A rodent with woodpecker skills? A primate from the underworld? Here's the kicker. The II is the only known primate that uses echolocation to hunt for food. Yeah, like a dolphin. Or a bat. This little fuzzy grenade of chaos just jacked submarine technology to find a bug. The II isn't just an animal. It's a walking paradox and a middle finger to every biology textbook ever written. Now let's get into the daily grind of our main character, the world's most convincing lab accident on legs. First off, hardcore introvert. Socially anxious. The II is a night creature. By day, it passes out inside a self-made spherical nest high up in the trees. Its own cozy fortress of solitude where it avoids sunlight and judgmental stares. But at night? Showtime. It wakes up, stretches, and goes on a 4-kilometer food hunting hike. Yes, 4 kilometers. For a 3-kilo animal, that's like a human walking to the next town over for a bag of chips. All of this happens in pitch-black treetops. It moves by vertical jumps. Imagine a squirrel jacked up on energy drinks. Horizontal movement? Not its favorite, so it just leaps from tree to tree, barely touching the ground, because trouble lives down there. The II is a pure lone wolf. It marks its territory with scent, letting the world know, my branch, my bugs, my existential crisis. A male's turf can reach 32 hectares, about 32 football fields. Imagine calling 32 stadiums your very own home, with just you inside. Females keep it more chill, around 8 hectares. But then things get spicy. A male's territory can overlap with other males, and they'll even share the same nest, just never at the same time. Basically, like 2 truckers sharing a bed in a roadside motel without ever meeting. They keep it neutral, until a female puts out the call. Then it's Black Friday at the mall. Chaos. Males brawl, sometimes yanking each other off the female mid-action. Gentlemen? Nowhere in sight. It's brutal. Who gets the girl? Whoever's left standing after what can only be described as a 1-hour marathon, not a date. When it's over, the female does all the heavy lifting, 170 days of pregnancy, 1 baby every 2-3 years, and she gets even more dominant to ensure top-notch food for her and her kid. Junior chills in the nest for 2 months, then does an internship with mom for another 7. And even after that, daughters often stay until they're 2. Yep, even these weirdos have kids who refuse to move out. Out of mating season, males and females barely cross paths. If they do, it's a quick, oh hey sup, and back to the freelance gig economy. Family? Pfft. More like a secret club of antisocial night owl freelancers who only show up at the office when Mother Nature throws a party. We've already established the eye is the reigning champ of weird, but let's focus on its key feature, the origin of your next nightmare, that finger. This is not just a finger, it's a Swiss Army knife built into a paw. Just to be clear, it's long, it's bony, and it doesn't match the rest of the hand. Total alien implant vibes. The main mission, food heist, taps Morse code into trees, listens for bug echoes, chews through bark with gnarly, unkillable teeth, and then sends in the finger probe for the grand extraction. That finger's so mobile, it can bend into tight spaces and fish out fat, juicy grubs, mixing percussion, dentistry, and proctology in one slick move. But nature didn't stop at culinary genius. That finger has a freaky ball and socket joint, like your shoulder or hip, giving it next-level rotational power, almost 360 degrees. No other primate even comes close. And now for the unhinged twist that'll break your brain. Thanks to its insane reach and flexibility, this finger can scratch the eye's own throat through its nostril. I repeat, it can stick its finger up its nose and tickle its throat from the inside. Why? Because it can, obviously. Also for hygiene. Yep, this fuzzy little goblin does some major nose picking with the creepiest finger ever, and then eats what it finds. It's called mucophagy, and the eye is the undisputed world champ. Picture it. Demon eyes, bat ears, and in the middle of a pitch-black Madagascar forest, it's cleaning its nose from the inside. But wait, evolution wasn't done. The eye rocks a bonus finger too. It's 6th. This is a pseudo-thumb, a special wrist nodule for a stickier grip. So not 5, but 6 fingers, one straight from a horror movie, and one just for extra convenience. Its anatomy is a love letter to over-specialization. Those huge wrinkly ears? Acoustic lenses picking up not just bug echoes, but every single snack rustle. They're not ears, they're military spec noise detectors. So, sum up, beaver teeth, bat ears, a squirrel tail, and hands that look like they were designed by an over-caffeinated engineer having a breakdown. That famous finger is a drumstick, endoscope, and eating utensil in one. The eye is living proof that evolution's sense of humor is as dark as it gets. You'd think a 3-kilo ball of fluff that eats bugs and fruit would be harmless, right? Not on Madagascar, its home turf. There, the eye is more than a walking oddity. It's a fluffy demon, straight up feared as a harbinger of doom and death. The superstition game is off the charts. Locals hate and fear it so much, science still doesn't know its real native name. People won't even say it out loud. Like Voldemort if he stopped being evil and started digging for snacks in your nose. One legend goes, if an eye shows up in your village, someone's going to die. Only way to save yourself? Kill it on sight and hang its corpse by the road to chase off evil. PR disaster, level 9000. You just wanted dinner, but now you're blamed for every curse and bad omen in a 50-mile radius. But the worst story? If the eye points its freakazoid finger at you, you're toast. That's a straight-up death mark. Some Malagasy folks believe the eye sneaks into homes at night, through the thatched roofs, and murders people in their sleep by stabbing their aorta with the nightmare finger. Of course, that's nonsense. The eye couldn't care less about human blood vessels. But try convincing people whose ancestors have handed down these stories for centuries. This reputation as mini Grim Reaper means IAs get killed on sight. Farmers think they're pests, even though there's zero proof they hurt crops. It's all driven by fear. The sickest irony? The name Ai may have come straight from this fear. According to one theory, when European explorers asked locals what this creature was, terrified villagers just yelled, "Ai!" Basically a mad yelp of disbelief and dread. Another theory says they muttered, "Hey, hey," which is, "I don't know," in Malagasy. Translation: the scariest animal on the island may literally be called No Clue. This whole demonization led to tragedy. By 1933, the ii was officially declared extinct, straight up wiped out. Luckily, in 1957, they found a tiny population hiding deep in the forests. But even now, despite all the conservation work, the ii teeters on the edge. And you know what? Not because of predators or illness. The number one threat? Humans spinning scary stories, believing them, and then acting on them. This freaky little primate, branded a bad omen, turns out to be the real victim. Victim of our imagination and our chronic fear of anything different. A living reminder that the deadliest monster on Earth stares back at us from the mirror. When scientists first met the ii, you could practically hear their brains blue screening. What do you call something that looks like it's made of spare animal parts? The teeth screamed rodent. The face said cat. But the body structure had hints of primate DNA. Total biological puzzle. Early naturalists saw those giant teeth and lumped it in with rodents, squirrels, beavers, that lot. But something didn't add up. After years of debate, DNA sequencing, and bone forensics, the ii finally landed in the primate club. Not just any primate, though. It's a lemur, but not your average lemur. The ii is the most ancient, most offbeat branch of the whole lemur family tree. It split off so long ago, all the other lemurs are like its 10th cousins twice removed. Basically, it's a living fossil, a glimpse into what early primates might have been. It's like your tech-phobic great-uncle who thinks the internet is dark magic and still rocks a flip phone. The ii is a living echo from a distant past. But that uniqueness came back to bite it. Being so unlike anything else made it a target not just for superstitious locals, but for a much bigger enemy: deforestation. The ii's home, the rainforests of Madagascar, are vanishing fast, and this tree-hopping specialist can't live without them. By the mid-20th century, when people thought the species was completely extinct, conservationists pulled a Hail Mary. In 1966, they trapped 9 iis, 4 males, 5 females, and airlifted them to a tiny island called Nosy Mangabe, which locals believed was sacred and left untouched. Witness protection, species addition. The iis survived and thrived. Other sanctuaries followed. By the 1990s, their numbers in the wild hit about 1,000. Victory dance time? Hold up. Today, even that's fading. Forests keep getting cut, and not even reserves can always protect them. Globally, there are only about 50 iis in zoos and breeding centers. 50. That's fewer than the people jammed in one subway car at rush hour. Every single one is priceless. Centers like Duke Lemur Center in the US are learning to crack the ii's care, diet, and breeding secrets, but none of it matters if the wild is gone. Here's the ultimate bitter joke. This unique million-year-old survivor, equipped with a bat's toolkit and squirrel's tail, survived everything evolution threw at it. Now it's on the verge of extinction because to some people, it's a bad omen, and to others, it's just in the way of a chainsaw. The animal accused of bringing death is dying, thanks to the stories we tell ourselves. And looking at that, there's really only one question left. Who's the real monster here?